What's up guys, it's Shane here from House of Cards TCG, and I'm coming at you with a brand new deck profile. I went to a case tournament it was actually for Burst of Destiny, not for Brothers of Legend, but I came in top 8 with Swordsoul DPE, which I think is really slept on right now. It seems like everyone's playing the Tenyi build, but DPE just came in clutch so many times. And it's just so much fun to play. It's like the Tenyi cards, they're really good, don't get me wrong, but locking you out of getting a Baron, it has its pros and cons, but so I came in top 8. I lost in Top Cut to a crazy Cyber Dragon deck. It was really good. He brought out a Dragoon, and I couldn't draw a droplet to get over it. So that's basically, my only out to it. Once he had the Dragoon on board with the negate, it was really strong in a simplified game state. So that was my loss. I went X1 otherwise. It was a really fun tournament. Just want to show you the deck. It's really good, so let's go right into it. All right, so the first thing, and this is my favorite card in the deck, we have 3 Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous, and this card is just so good in the deck because the synergy with the DPE is just amazing. The fact that it's a mandatory effect to add back to your hand, it consistently, nets you card advantage, which is huge in this deck. DPE also just really strong. I feel like DPE is so fun to play with. I had to have it in the deck. I got tired of playing the Tenyi build, so put this one back together. But yeah, so then you do 3 Moyi standard, 3 Longwan, again, standard. And then I'm playing 2 Taya. I've seen some people cut it to 1, but it's so good to draw, mid-game or end-game, because your graveyard's pretty much always live. And then what I'm playing is 3 Vishuddha, and the reason I'm playing 3, the theory behind it, is that basically what makes the Tenyi build so good going second is Vishuddha. That's the strength. The fact that you can just special summon it out because you control no effect monsters, and then you can link it off, and then you can bounce a card. It forces out a lot of negations just right off the bat. And to have that in this build, it also has a lot of synergy because you have more worms to reveal off Moyi and discard off Longwan. So playing 3 Vishuddha has come up clutch. I almost never brick with this deck. Before, the build I was playing only had 1 Vishuddha. And I like it at 3 because, like I said, my biggest problem with the deck was bricking. I was just losing to myself, so I was not drawing multiple worms or multiple sword souls to reveal off Moyi or discard off Longwan. So this has pretty much fixed it with that. And then for the other kind of, not really a tech anymore, it's just pretty much standard, but I like Protoss a lot in the main deck because you can blind, call dark, or light, depending. If you get a sense of what they're playing, you can normally get some sort of sense throughout the tournament. You basically know what your opponent's playing. So even blind calling dark is sometimes really strong, and it's just a great card. Having that floodgate that's a lingering effect that can't negate it the following turn, it's just huge. So for our going second cards, this deck, you can't play too many of them. There's just not enough room. So the ones you play have to be high impact. So for that reason, I'm playing 3 Droll and Lockbeard. It's just really good right now with Drytron just being so insane, being able to do what they can do. And the Bird Up deck too just loses hard to Droll and Lockbeard. So I feel like this card I just really needed in the main deck. Now if I was playing at like a locals, this would probably be an Ash Blossom just because it's more generic. But on the competitive scene, I would play Droll because you're gonna mostly be seeing meta. And the meta right now is reliant on searching, which makes Droll and Lockbeard just really, really good. And by the same token, we're playing 3 Droplet. In my opinion, Droplet is just the best card of the format right now. It's just insane to have Droplet going second. You pretty much just don't care what your opponent's doing at that point. If they try to Scythe lock you, you have Droplet. You can negate it. If they whatever board they set up, you can basically negate it with Droplet, which is huge. And then the other one I chose is Imperm. I really don't like triggering triple tactics talent if I don't have to, so Imperm is just really solid. It does really well against the bird deck. It doesn't do too much against Drytron. You hit the Xyz monster or you hit the Diviner, but against a lot of decks, Imperm is just really strong. It's really good against Invoked. And then we're playing, obviously, 3 Fusion Destiny, 1 Celestial, 1 Dasher. So that's the DPE package. It sucks that it's 5 cards, but you love to draw Fusion Destiny, so you really want to hard draw it. It's tough to make Anaconda in this deck. It's just, you're burning a lot of resources just for an Anaconda when you can just hard draw Fusion Destiny. And then for the spells, 3 Emergence, again, standard. This is what you use to search Protos. And you can do it almost every time if you play your cards right. You have to be patient with this card. If you don't need it, don't shotgun it right away. You want to save it until you have a synchro, and then you can search any worm. We're doing 1 Summit. Again, some people cut this. I think this card is just really strong. Having a searchable monster reborn, it raises the ceiling of the deck, which is really strong. Same thing with instant fusion. The summoning out the level 4 fusion monster, it gives the deck an extender when the deck doesn't have many extenders. So bringing out, it's coming in clutch a lot of times for me, because if they stop your Mo Yi or your Long Wan, sometimes the opponent just thinks they win there. But if you have the instant fusion, you can keep going and push through. Again, and then 1 Called by the Grave. Just good to be able to stop, Ash, Imperm, well, not Imperm, Ash, Veiler, Joel, that kind of thing. So Called by the Grave is really good. It's really good also against DPE. So if you're playing against, a deck that brings out DPE, the Called by the Grave can be huge. Playing 3 Prosperity. This card being able to search 6 in this deck is just absolutely insane. There's so many flex spots in the extra deck that you can always go for 6 unless you're resolving, multiple of these. But the first time you always want to go for 6, never do 3. Because there's so many power cards in that you just need to see. And then we do the 1 Blackout and then the 1 Imperial Order. This is so we don't lose to Mystic Mine. Also, it's incredible off of Prosperity. If you can go first, you can dig for 6, and if you find Imperial Order plus you have combo, your opponent's just not playing. So it's just a win button cheat code card, which probably should be banned, but since it's not, we're playing it. So let's get into the extra deck. 1 Monk, you only need 1. You're playing the 3 of Ashuda, but it's rare that you would ever resolve multiple. 1 Anaconda, that's it for the links. Let's see if I can get it out of the glare here. And then for the fusion, we do the 1 Magic-y Beast. It's just a level 4 tuner. The effect doesn't matter. But yeah. And then the 1 Phoenix Enforcer, obviously. The card's ridiculous. 2 Shishao, it's standard. I always banish 1 off of Prosperity because you never really resolve 2. But you always want to keep the 1. 1 Berserker, 2 Baxia. These cards are just broken going second. 1 Dragite, it's really good. You got to make sure you have the water in the grave. I've, in testing misplayed that before. So you want to make sure you have the water, but being able to negate a spell or trap is huge because there's so many good power spells right now. It's also really good against back row decks. Crimson Blader, this card is insane against the Mirror. It's really good against like Invoked. It's really good against like a hero deck I played. This card was insane, just won me the game. Shen Shen, it's a flex spot. It almost never comes up. I didn't summon it 1 time in the last tournament I went to, but it's good to have certain decks. It's just really strong against like Drytron, just sending all their monsters from the field to the graveyard's big. Geomathnic Final Sigma. This card is just a cheat code against Flunderies. So if you summon this, and it's easy to summon, you summon this against Flunderies, they have a really, really tough time dealing with it because it's unaffected by card effects, except Mathemax, which they're obviously not going to have. But the way you do it is with your level 8 Synchro plus any level 4 Tuner, which is pretty easy to do that. Comes up a lot against Flunderies. It's just, you just win off that. Or if you don't, they have to go through so many resources to out it, if they even can, depending on their extra deck that you've probably, set up your board. And then one of the Supreme Sovereign, and the best card in the deck, Baron, is just nuts. That's the extra deck, 15. Okay, into the side deck. So this is what I played at the tournament, and then I'm going to go over what I would change it for. 3 anti-spell would definitely not cut this. This card, if you go first, you always side this in. There's just so many good spell cards that they're siding in. Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler, Droplet. Anti-spell is just huge. You activate in the standby and you win. 3 Chalice. I was really afraid of Token Collector, and I didn't have Token Collector summon against me one time. So I would pull this from the side and put in something like Lancia. Probably Lancia because it's good against a lot of decks right now. It's really good against PK, which you can have a tough time against. So I would probably put Lancia in there as a 3 of. The other options I would do would be a Dark Ruler No More or DD Crow. So they're both really, really, really good this format. Crow is so good against Phoenix Enforcer. It's also just randomly good against like Invoked. It's good against Bird Up. It's good against a lot of decks. Dark Ruler is just really strong as well. So it would be one of those, but I played Chalice, which again I would cut. The next one I played was Nib. I didn't really side this much, and I don't like the confliction with Phoenix Enforcer. It conflicts with your Celestial because this thing is stuck in hand a lot. So if your opponent doesn't trigger Nib and it's stuck in hand, you can't Celestial to draw 2. So I would probably turn this into a Dark Ruler No More, just so I could set it, and then still Celestial. I mean, Nib is good, but it just didn't come up much. And then I played 3 Cosmic. I was really afraid of back row, which I only played 1 back row deck, being Sky Striker. So out of 6 rounds. So I do like the Cosmic, but I would also cut the Lightning Storm. And again, just play either Dark Ruler, Crow, or Lancia. I think these cards are just better suited for the current meta. But I was really afraid of back row, and I was well equipped to beat it, but didn't really need it. I still came in top 8. I was X1 in a case tournament, so pretty cool. Yeah, and then lastly, gotta show off these insane tokens. The best token of them all, Primal Being token with DiCaprio. He's got the card in his hand, if you can see that. And then we got the Moyi token. And these are collector rare too. They're really cool. If you guys are interested, let me know down below and I can give you a link to where to order these. We got the Taya token and the Longwan token. And again, these are collector rare. I'll take it out of the sleeve so you can see the detail, but they're just really, really good quality, like just better quality than any token I've ever seen. Let's see if we can get a good, yeah. So yeah. Again, let me know down below what you think about the build, if there's anything you would change. But yeah, I think the deck's really strong. It's still one of the best decks of the format. Really slept on. A lot of people are just playing the Tenyi build, which it's good too. It has its merits, but it just gets old and people understand how to beat it now. So having DPE as some extra firepower, I think is huge. But again, this is Shane from House of Cards TCG, signing up.